Have you ever wondered if anger could actually be a force for good in your life? That's an interesting question, isn't it? Most of us were taught that anger is dangerous, that it's something to avoid, to suppress, or to be ashamed of, to be fearful of. But here's the truth: anger, in its healthy form, and that's what I'm here to talk about today, is one of the most essential and life giving feelings, emotions that we have. Hello, I'm Jennifer McKeever. I'm a somatic psychotherapist, trauma educator, and I help people transform anger from a source of shame and shutdown into the vital energy it actually is that lets us live authentically and have healthier relationships. And today I want to show you what healthy anger really is and why reclaiming it is essential, not just for your emotional health, but for your nervous system as well. We need our healthy anger for our nervous system to be regulated and to be able to work the way we want it to work. And anger has gotten a really bad reputation because we often confuse it with aggression, with violence, with rage, but they are not the same thing. Those are anger that is fused with fear, shame, and trauma and power. Healthy anger is different. It's not destructive, it's protective. It's your sympathetic nervous system mobilizing the energy to take action. It is the energy that allows us to say things like, no, that's not okay. Or something like, this is my boundary, this is my yes, and this is my no. And that's biology. Anger is part of your body's built-in survival system. But here's the complication. If you grew up in an environment where it was not safe to protect yourself, where expressing anger, setting a boundary would lead to punishment, ridicule, rejection, or worse, your nervous system learned a survival equation, which is anger equals danger. So instead of anger rising up to defend you, shame has to step in to shut it down. And of course, this isn't a conscious choice. It's procedural memory. It's your body's learned pattern of what is going to let you survive. And that survival strategy makes sense for a child because staying attached to our caretakers is more important than fighting back. But the cost is that the natural energy of our anger has to be buried. But buried anger does not disappear. It turns inward. It shows up as self-blame, anxiety, depression, and even chronic fatigue or illnesses, all signs of nervous system dysregulation. Because every core emotion has a purpose. Fear, it warns us that something might hurt me, to be scared, to be afraid. Sadness signals to us that I've lost something I love, that I care about. And anger says, a line has been crossed, my boundary matters. And without anger, we lose the ability to feel where we and others begin. We lose that sense of our healthy boundary. And that's why people who struggle with saying no or who chronically people please often have suppressed anger underneath. They have to hold it in. The anger is there. It's just buried under layers of shame and fear. So let's clear this up. Anger and aggression, they're not the same thing. Toxic anger is reactive. It's fight energy that's tangled up with things like shame and trauma, that when it's lashed out, it hurts people. Healthy anger is regulated. It's clear, it's firm, it's protective. It says, that's not okay with me. I deserve respect. This is where my boundary lies. And here's the paradox. Healthy anger, it actually makes our relationships safer. Because when people know that your no is real, then your yes can actually be trusted. And that clarity, that builds trust, it builds stability, it builds vulnerability, actually. At its core, healthy anger is one of the deepest acts of self-compassion we can do. It really says, I am worth protecting. Another point, often anger and grief, they're connected. When we finally let our anger come up to protect us, when we get to express our anger, it clears space to feel the grief that has been living underneath it, the sadness for the love, the safety that we didn't receive, for all the hurts we had to shove down. And if we shut down our anger, we also keep that grief frozen. But when anger is allowed, it opens the door to actually be able to feel the grief. And we need that for the deep healing to happen. So anger, it does not shut down vulnerability. It's actually, when it's healthy, is what unlocks it. So, what does this look like in daily life? Let's say you're in a meeting and someone takes credit for your idea. Healthy anger says, no, I want to speak here. That was my contribution. Let's say a friend repeatedly cancels plans. Healthy anger, it's a feeling. It's a feeling, and it says, no, this is not okay with me. I want and need and deserve relationships that I can count on. In your relationships, let's say your partner somehow dismisses your feelings. They say you're too sensitive. Healthy anger says, hold on, my feelings are valid here and I deserve respect. And those examples, they're not explosions, they're boundary setting moments that restore our sense of dignity and self respect. So here's two practices that I like to offer to help you reconnect with the impulse for healthy anger inside. And the first is what I call somatic tracking. Next time a bit of anger starts to come up, or if you'd like to imagine a scenario, you're welcome to do that as well. Notice the sensations of anger. Notice how it moves in your body. Maybe there's heat, tightness, pressure, tingling. And instead of trying to push it down, take a breath into that. Actually make space for it and sit and observe it. Often we tighten up against anger. So see what happens if you can soften and let the sensation expand safely. Explore it. Let the heat come. This isn't about acting it out. It's about bringing our curiosity and to feel into this survival energy that may have been shut down for a big chunk of our life. So just breathe and let yourself feel it and feel your feet. Second practice, in a low stake situation, practice saying no. Maybe this means you pause before agreeing to something. Take time to check in and see if you really want to agree it. Maybe choose what you want for dinner instead of automatically deferring and seeing what the other person wants for dinner. Finding some way to say no. And as you do this, notice the sensations in your body, the energy that comes up, perhaps a boundary line starts feeling more clear to you. In these practices, you're teaching your nervous system that saying no, asserting your opinion, that it doesn't equal danger, that it actually means choice and clarity, and that you can stay present during it. When we reclaim anger, we reclaim our vitality, our authenticity, and we open the door to loving ourselves and others much more fully. So I'd love to hear from you. What has your relationship been like with anger? Has shame held it back? Have you noticed that? And what shifted when you began to feel your anger as a protective energy rather than something destructive? Now, please share in the comments below because I bet your story might be the spark that someone else needs right now to reclaim their own fire. Thanks for being here.